good to have you back. Welcome again. And it is a discussion segment now. And who has joined us? We have Professor Dennis Aribodo, Professor of Public Health, Parasitology, UNIZEC. Welcome, Prof.
Thank you. Good morning, viewers.
Okay, and I'm still here with Dave Opokwasele.
Yes, it's another exciting Tuesday morning. Join us as we look at this important issue.
Okay, you're welcome. Yes, our topic for today, that's the first topic, said medical research and the human development in Nigeria. A very big one indeed. And we know that with recent revolution in research globally, scientists have blamed the Nigeria's backwardness in research and development on poor funding and the lack of political will on the part of the government, the individual, and the corporate organizations. And now this morning, we want to find out from our resource person that is here, Professor Aribodo, whether this assertion is true. But before then, how could you, first of all, let us into the activities of the Research Institute, Medical Research Institute in Nigeria?
Yes, thank you very much. The idea of research is an idea that was created to enable man to continue to advance in knowledge. Through research, new knowledge is created, new innovations in any aspect, including medical, are born. So without research, hardly can any society move forward. That is about research. Then, talking about medical research proper, it has to do with activities that will generate knowledge for the good of man, his environment, his animal, his plants. But more of health now. Nigeria has few research institutes. One is in Lagos, one is in Kaduna, Naima is in Lagos, Oncosika is in Kaduna, Somiasis is in Jos. They also have some centers, like in Enugu, we have the National Arbovirus and Vector Research Center. But as you rightly said, the bane of these centers, including and more importantly universities, which is an incubation center of research, is lack of funding.
Okay, before we get to the bane now, let's quickly see the activities. What and what can they beat their chest and say that this is what they have brought out in terms of discoveries? What results have we had?
Before it went very bad, Nigerian universities and research centers have produced vaccines, including cholera vaccine that was produced by Professor Njoko of UNN then. But because, as typical with the Nigerian government, they don't value their own, America took that man, and that is the end. In the past, Nigeria produced vaccines. Nigeria generated information that guide policies. So these are small things the country has achieved. But there is no sustainability. The environment to do these things are not there. The laboratories are all gone. So, but as per the capacity of the Nigerian scientists and researchers to do well, it is there.
It is there based on the environment the members of the academic world has been able to create, or to the extent that the government created that environment?
The research capacity of the individual researcher is not questionable in Nigeria. What is lacking is enabling environment, infrastructure, funding, continuous training to be current with what is happening. These are what are actually lacking. But as per whether Nigeria has the intellectual capacity to develop knowledge, new innovations that can address our problems, not just health problems, the capacity is there.
The capacity is there, but where do we get these people? Because they say that the standard of education in Nigeria is very low. So how can you trust the products of of the universities that their standards are very low, to the extent that they can bring us something that will affect humanity positively?
Yes, we can claim that the standard is low, but that does not diminish the capacity of the Nigerian researcher or academic or Nigerian student to perform. Yes, I agree with you that a lot of things, starting from the 80s, has gone wrong with research in Nigeria, because what we are seeing today is not what you may regard as the cutting-edge research in Nigeria. That is why our government keep on depending on foreigners as against their local academics and intellectuals to solve this problem. And that cannot bring the desired solution to this country. Dependence on foreign intellectuals and partners cannot solve the problem. The problem can only be solved when our government, whether it is federal or state or local government, ingests adequate resources to create an enable environment, because research is expensive. Research is very expensive. And because it's a product that you don't easily see within a very short time, our political leaders find it difficult to invest in it. To produce one drug, for example, one drug that to the market would take you an average of 12 years.
12 years?
Yes.
What kind of drugs? Is it all this one that's all these pharmaceutical companies that are...
No, those ones are non-generic. To produce chloroquine, in the first time chloroquine was produced, it took several years.
What do you mean by generic?
Generic is that it has been produced, so it can be replicated in any other place.
Like the Costeros we see, the paracetamols,
yes. The active ingredients have been developed, doses have been developed, so all you have to do is just like going to market and buy things to prepare onubu soup. The difference between your onubu soup and that of the other, but the method of preparing onubu soup has been developed, and the onubu soup ingredients are already there. So that is why any company can now go and buy the ingredients, they come and they prepare that in. But the process of developing that ingredient itself takes an average of 12 years. And an investment that runs into millions of naira. And that is why our political leaders do not fancy that. But they celebrate innovations from outside the world. These innovations do not just come like that. The critical factor in research is funding.
Okay, it's still about funding. Before we begin to look at what the government has failed to do, you talked about individual capacities. Now, if the government peradventure wants to fund, they want to look at the readiness of those people in that field. And we've seen situations where researchers from Nigeria were rejected due to plagiarism or several of those unethical conducts. Don't you think such can discourage a policymaker, a government person to even fund? He will say, why would I fund when I know that this guy is taking this money to go and build a house in his village instead of using it for the purpose of...
Yes, how did we get there in the first place? You can't tackle such a problem without addressing the root. That 1 or 2%, less than 2% are failing, doesn't mean that 98% is failing. So the point there is that the Nigerian researcher is a good researcher. What Nigerian researcher does not have, okay, go to the universities. You use stove to do research instead of Bunsen burner. You don't have water. You don't have electricity, very critical.
In the universities?
All universities,
Are you saying that is the duty of the federal government to provide water in the universities that are collecting school fees from students and all the rest of it? You can generate water?
And to an extent...
well, government do everything. No.
Excuse me, yes. Government will
what
not...
is in sinking bubble that is everywhere?
Government will not do everything, but there are basics. The basics must be provided by government. What is the budget of education in Nigeria? Less than 7% for the past 3 or 4 years. The highest the country has gone is about 11% in the last 10 years. So no matter
why the university should buy schools
no matter how you look at it,
for researchers.
no matter how you look at it, there has to be proper budgeting and release of this fund. Universities are suffering in this country. If they tell you what they pass through to be able to even do the little they're doing, you pity them. Remember that in Nigerian universities, it is tuition free. Government accepts to pay the school fees. And this money for payment of the school fees is not being provided by government. The little money the university charges is just to maintain some level of efficiency. But the main money to run the university is not there.
Okay. It's tuition free, so all these hundreds of thousands that are being collected from the students are not tuition. Let's continue.
In federal universities, there is no federal university that collects more than 50,000.
Really?
Unizik is between 20 and 25. Federal, I don't know if states, but in some states it ranges from between.
I think ULL is more than that.
Undergraduate.
Yes,
in first year there is always other things that come in. But from second year, most university takes about 50,000.
Eyes on the ball, gentlemen. Going back to our intro, would you say that Nigeria is actually backward in medical research? Are we actually?
Nigeria as a country is very backward in medical research. That is why ordinary mosquito net we import. Ordinary mosquito net, I know how many billions this country has invested in collaboration with development partners. These nets we buy, they produce in Nigeria. The treatment. But these are things we can easily do.
So what's stopping us from doing it?
What's stopping us from doing it is that the capacity is not there, but recently the Federal Minister of Health is working with some companies to start that. It has to do with the capacity of government to make these things work. We are spending our money in another country, creating jobs for them to produce mosquito net and treat it.
But there have been cases whereby a big amount of money was budgeted for a particular project, and then the thing, disappeared. It's just the same story.
The truth there is that if government wants to stop the disappearance, government has the capacity to stop the disappearance. If somebody has disappeared with anything, the same government has the capacity because they have to monitor what they're doing. So
is it that the major players, both government and the practitioners, have not seen that medical research is the foundation for a better society? Or is it that it's just like a discal attitude to what should be in society?
Okay, let us go back to a little bit in the history. Okay. When did we start hearing of brain drain in Nigeria? It was in the 80s. What is brain drain? Brain drain is the migration of the best brains in this country to areas or countries they feel that they are appreciated. What caused the brain drain? Poor conditions of service, poor policies. And people say, instead of us to stay here and waste time, we have to go. Only very few that are patriotic. And that gave room to an era where people who do not have interest.
Yeah, hello? Excuse me, bro. Like somebody has joined us. Hello? Okay, go on, sir.
So as I said, following the mass exodus of Nigerian researchers and academics, we have a situation whereby individuals who are not gifted, who are not prepared, who are not ready, who does not have the calling to be a researcher or academic, flooded the university system and research institutes just to get employment. But the calling is not there because it's a very tasking calling. You need to discipline yourself, forget a lot of things, to be in your laboratory, to be in the field, to get that knowledge. It takes time. So that's why we say we cannot achieve much until government starts funding and it starts getting industries in this country to start supporting research.
I wonder why we're still... Okay,
every industry in this country should have research and development unit.
Okay.
We should have a collaboration with a nearby university or any university they like. But it's not done in this country. Rather, they prefer made in outside Nigerian products in terms of knowledge.
Why is this so?
It's about corruption now.
Is it all about corruption?
Yes.
Corruption from which side? Because you are asked to make something, a material that is going to be durable for the next 1 or 2 years. You will make the one that won't last for 2 months. So corruption on whose side? The manufacturers or the government?
The question there is that government has capacity to regulate. Even our talking here can be regulated by government. Are they doing that? Let me tell you, the products that are produced in Nigeria, especially the medical products, are the best than all this imported. I'll go to the field and confirm. The drugs manufactured in Nigeria are the most authentic drugs.
Really?
Yes, except where the regulatory agencies fail to periodically monitor production.
So what are these policies that would... we've talked about funding. You are talking about collaboration between universities and industries.
Yes.
What are these other policies that when you put them in place, you get a better ecosystem for medical research in Nigeria? Medical development, ensure that people get a better health.
Number one, we've talked about funding. Number two, there should be square peg in square holes, round peg in round holes. What do I mean? The best for the job, especially jobs that involve intellectual development, should go to the best. Not a person of, I come from the north, I come from the east, my friend is my brother. That is one. Merit. We cannot sacrifice merit if we want to advance so much in medical research. Having done that, there will be a continuous capacity building, exposure of these intellectuals, these researchers, to cutting-edge technology, cutting-edge research.
I'm sorry, Prof, before you continue, let's take this person joining us. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is Engineer Johnson. I am calling from Oxford this morning.
All right. Engineer John Paul, go on.
Network is quite I say good morning to Professor in the studio.
Oh.
Good morning.
Yes, what you've been saying is quite on point. But one thing that I want to also look at is that the federal government of this country, Nigeria, is not helping matters. When you talk about education, but when you talk about research, it's all about education also. The fact that in the recent past, a lot of Nigerians have gone into research and they come out with a lot of things that are supposed to be supported by the federal government through the Ministry of Education and the research institute. But I'm negative. I'll give you one example about Team Menaka. What happened to this research? Why is it with our children? Why is it a plant? So that is the only way researchers and researchers can be encouraged. If somebody comes out with a research, it's supposed to be followed, it's supposed to be supported. The stakeholders, because they are not giving that support, there's the kind of back in the whole system. We talk about doing justice. They are there to make research. They cannot give the support. The environment is not friendly. If you come out with any research, the federal government, the Ministry of Education, and all the stakeholders, they neglect it. Because of selfish interest, I want to be free. I want to be good. And that is what is killing Nigeria. I want to say, if that is not tackled, research in this country remains on the low base. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you, John Paul. Thank you very much. Okay, moving ahead. We have all agreed that the problems that we are experiencing in the socio-economic life of this nation is always blamed on lack of political will. And then perhaps on the part of the government, individuals and the corporate organizations that we have said. Now we want to find out, is it the same thing? Is it the same problem coming to medical research in Nigeria? Is it still political will? And if it is, on whose part? Is it the government now, the individual, or the organizations that are supposed to be doing this?
Yes, I hope you heard the last speaker very well. He has summarized the question you just asked me. Research is not what you just wake up in the morning and go to market and buy. First of all, you have to plan it. You have to say, what are the problems in my environment, health-wise? You do situation analysis, and you now do priority. Which one should I tackle first? And you go to the field. That is what it should be. But we have a situation, even in this state, and in most states in Nigeria, if not all the states, the expenditure of government on health and the medical research on health is not born, is not tied to research output of that environment. For example, what is guiding the policies of government, whether at the federal or the state, on some health problems we have in Nigeria? Somebody wakes up and says, I want to put 100,000 naira or 100 million naira in this area. Is that area you're putting that money priority? There should be this synergy, this collaboration between government agencies, ministries and departments, and research institutes and universities.
Why is there no cooperation? Or
The cooperation is there is that because it's just that people feel that there are lots in their own territory. There is sometimes this, I don't know the best word to use, but there's lack of trust. When a researcher or an academic tries to come close to the policy maker, sometimes he feels threatened. And when the policymaker tries to come to the researcher, because it has happened whereby some policymakers get to the researcher, steal their ideas. The papers they wrote, proposal they wrote, steal it and give to another person to develop. So there has to be that collaboration, bringing policymakers and researchers to try to understand and have a synergy. And there should be, if you like, at the state level, there should be a steering committee to ensure that these things are happening. And if we want to eradicate malaria in Anambra State, of course, you can't eradicate malaria in Anambra State. You can only eliminate it. The eradication is global. If you want to eliminate malaria in Anambra State, what are the best options that the state should apply? How long will this last? What should be the investment? Is government ready to do that? There are things that you will fund, for example, in malaria research now. The idea of using what we call indoor residual spraying, these chemicals they spray on the wall, not shelters. So the one that they did here about 5, 6, 7 years ago. If government is ready to...
Which one? Is it fumigation?
Not fumigation. Indoor residual spraying is very capital intensive, but it can generate employment. If government is ready to eliminate Anambra State, 3 years of 2 times indoor residual spraying, 3 years will bring malaria situation to less than 5% in Anambra State. And the rest can be wiped up with combination therapy. But if you present that proposal now, because the priorities of government is not in those things that people hardly, people will not see. Because they want to do rules. They want to do things that people can see.
Which are also important.
They are very important. But if you build road and the people who are building this road are not there to do it, what is their sense? So the point we are trying to make is that there should be that link, that collaboration between the policy and the research for us to address this problem. The policy will now budget the funding, do some advocacy to the government if they need advocacy, and this money will come out, and they will monitor the implementation.
They will monitor the implementation, because I think that's the where we'll have serious problem in this country. Not that the government will not want to do a thing, but each time they try to do a new thing, the implementation will be very poor. Some of the people these are handed over to will, just squander the money.
That is where there is budget for research. In the budget of Anambra State in Nigeria,
I see.
Our government, what is budget for research? No, we have to be very practical.
Okay.
The research department in the Ministry of Health, is it existing? Is it functional?
Okay.
What is the capacity? That is where we should start.
All right, before we go, because we are running short of time, just quickly advise our people, because I know that still go to seek for medical advice abroad instead of developing their own here. So what is your advice to our people? My
advice to all of us, because government is all of us, we should help government to articulate good policies and bridge the gap between policies and the researchers. These two people, policy implementers and developers, should come together and work with government. But more importantly, there should be funding.
There should be funding because there's money in this country. So funding is not supposed to be a problem in any project that we want to carry out. We'd like to thank you very much, Professor Dennis Aribodo, Professor of Public Health Parasitology, Nnamdi Azikiwe University. I wonder if I got that name correctly. Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, you do stand by now for the next segment of this program.
Good morning, Anambra.
Otuto mano, ndi Anambra.
Rasalachi.
It's Good Morning, Anambra, our breakfast TV show on ABS TV, Channel 24.
My name is Iberi Ugunna. To light up your morning with
I am Nonye Nwokoye.
Theophilus Oko.
Chidimma Oranwa.
Ijama Uche.
Every morning, weekdays, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m.
From newspaper review
To interactive segments with viewer participation.
News from our studio.
Sports.
The entertainment.
Join us.
Tune in weekdays, 7 a.m.
Good morning, Anambra, your breakfast TV show every weekday from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m.